Good evening. Today is Wednesday, May 10, 2023. I am Elmer Navarro Manuel and this is Tribune News on Q. Here are the headlines for this evening. Southeast Asia to remain epicentrum of growth, says President Marcos. ASEAN must double efforts in upholding international law. Philippines and Laos to work together to boost education. DOH logs 1,476 COVID-19 cases. Easterlies to affect eastern sections of Visayas. President Marcos asks ASEAN to help NANO trade off vendors. And stocks index up anew. For tonight's stories, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Wednesday expressed belief that the Southeast Asia would remain as the epicentrum of growth if it continues to empower the youth sector. He cited the initiative of the Filipino youth on climate change and disaster resiliency, noting that they are at the forefront of advocacies that aims to mitigate and adapt to the effects of the climate change in the Philippines. Marcos mentioned that one of the initiatives is leading the declaration of the annual ASEAN Youth in Climate Action and Disaster Resilience Day held every November 25 to promote awareness and provoke positive action among the youth to address climate change and galvanize disaster risk reduction efforts. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said Wednesday the ASEAN should double its efforts when it comes to upholding international law in the region. He stressed this a day after he said he would continue to push for code of conduct on the South China Sea during the ASEAN summit, adding that tension in the region would not ease if there is no code of conduct. Meanwhile, the president also said the Philippines welcomes Indonesia's ASEAN chairmanship priority of strengthening regional cooperation to address cross-border crimes, particularly trafficking in persons caused by the misuse of technology, and to mainstream the protection of migrant workers and their families in crisis situations. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Lao People's Democratic Republic Prime Minister Sonexay Sipandone on Wednesday vowed to work together to improve the two countries' education sectors. Marcos and Sipandone had a bilateral meeting on the sidelines of the 42nd ASEAN Summit held in Indonesia. They both agreed to work with other ASEAN leaders toward the collective benefit of the regional bloc. The president further said the two countries could boost the professional exchanges in terms of work, saying the similarities between the Philippines and Laos have been well noted and are to the advantage of both countries. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
Iba ng panahon, ang dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ang bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy it sa centers, pati sa mga parties, may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all.
Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayan.
In other news, the Department of Health on Wednesday registered 1,476 new COVID-19 cases for the 7th straight day, of more than 1,000 new infections being confirmed. The new cases brought the nationwide caseload to 4,106,974, while the infections rose to 12,706 from 12,125 on Tuesday. According to the DOH, at least 895 new recoveries were recorded, bringing the recovery tally to 4,027,815, while the death toll is at 66,453 with no fatalities reported. State Weather Bureau Pagasa announced that the easterlies will be affecting the eastern sections of Visayas and Mindanao. Metro Manila and the rest of the country will experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms due to easterlies or localized thunderstorms. The Weather Bureau said the wind speed forecast for the rest of the country will be light to moderate, while coastal waters will be slight to moderate. In business, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has asked member states of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and the region's leaders in commerce to support the NANO businesses of dispatch riders, repairers, marketmen and women, and others in a similar trade. At his intervention at the ASEAN Leaders Interface with representatives of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations Business Advisory Council, Marcos said nano businesses, an informal and still unrecognized business category, have been impacting people's lives in the region but are ignored. The president appealed to other member states not to forget the nano businesses, as they are just as viable as the micro, small, or mid-sized businesses. And the local equities market's main index rose anew on Wednesday as investors continue to digest positive earnings reports of listed firms for the first quarter of the year, while the peso ended the day sideways against the United States dollar. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index increased by 0.54% or 35.98 points to 6,658.59 at the closing bell. The broader all shares followed with a jump of 0.39% or 13.77 points to 3,546.10. Volume totaled 721.31 million shares, amounting to 4.64 billion pesos. Decliners led advancers at 105 to 73, while 57 shares were unchanged. Meantime, the peso ended sideways against the United States dollar at 55.67 from 55.76 a day ago. That wraps up the stories tonight. Catch us again tomorrow only here at Daily Tribune's Facebook page. Again, this is Elmer Navarro Manuel, and you're watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good night, and God bless us all.
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tarsito are available on our community Viber.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1! Isumbong mo, ikalat sa madla, upang kainisan, sa gayon ay magtanda. Halukayin mo, pribadong buhay niya, pasikatin natin, para mas lumala.
Sir, meron ako napanood, bagong secret na nanay, tatay, lolo't lola. Pasa-pasa mo sa katabi, kala mong bola. Walang kinikilingan, kala mo saranggola. Sakto sa lahat, na kala mong Coca-Cola. Grabe si kuya, binugbog yung driver. Sinapak sinipan, nakala mong Shider. Bully natin doon sa cyber. Yung mukha ni kuya, bigyan ng title. Dapat kasi sila yung hinuhuli nyo. Galit ako sa mga bully, pinupubliko. Ito ganti ko sa mga nabubuli nyo. Yung mga nabubuli, pinubuli ko. Maliit na suliran yung ginawang libangan habang kumakain. Kung ano ang tahimik ay paiingay. Kung ano ang pribado, masarap palukayin. Mali na. Ano ba pagmura afford ng bata? Menor de edad o sa edad na nga ba? Masakit na salita, walang menor na mapara.
Ikalat sa madla upang kainisan. Sa gayon ay magtanda, halukayin mo. Pribadong buhay, pasikatin natin. Para mas lumala.
Sa kapanig, kaliwa o kanan, away ng haligid, ilaw ng tahanan, labanan ni palakasan ng hiyawa, parang Pro Duterte at mga dilawan. I-pray mo na, ba't ako'y gutom? Mga tagapanood, pwede ng hukom, walang investiga. Okay na ako to, kung ako'y anlait, ako ay sunog. Nakikisaw-saw mga nakikihamon, mga nagkamali pa ng muling paahon. Bigyan ng pagkakataon para bumangon, pag-usapan ng pribado at mahinahon. Ibig kong sabihin, may proseso, kahit wala ka doon sa kongreso. Wala nang away yung ego, o pero sa batang huli, talagang peso-peso.
Ikalat sa madla upang kainisan. Sa gayon ay magtanda, halukayin mo. Pribadong buhay niya, pasikatin natin. Para mas lumala, una-unahan na lang tayong magsumbong. Di na kailangan ng hearing on the spot ang desisyon. Ang taas ng tensyon, ano bang intensyon? Bigyan ng aksyon, turuan ng leksyon, o baka ang misyon. Umabot ng milyon, isumbong mo. Ikalat na madla, upang kainisan. Sa gayon ay magtanda, halukayin mo. Pribadong buhay niya, pasikatin natin.
Ginagawa mo.
Ikalat sa madla upang kainisan. Sa gayon ay magtanda, halukayin mo. Pribadong buhay niya, pasikatin natin. Para mas lumala.